boys and girls, welcome back to another week of STEAM lessons. We are still talking all about sound, and so I want to review what we talked about last week. So we know that sound is a form of energy that's created when matter vibrates. So we tested out those vibrations last week, and we tested them with different matters through solids, liquids, gases, and the air. So the vibrations are making sound waves. So this week we're going to be talking all about sound waves and how those actually work and what they look like. So we looked at tuning forks last week, and I hit it and it made a noise. And what I want you to think about is this sound that you hear, and then we're going to listen to a different sound. So these tuning forks are made out of the exact same material, they're the same shape, I'm hitting them with the same object, but they made a different sound. So let's try it with this one and this one. Ooh, that one makes a way different sound. So why do you think that is? You might be saying that it's because they're different sizes. That would be a good clue. So we're going to look at sound waves and see what they actually look like. Here are some examples of sound waves. So we have two different waves on each line. This one has lower waves and higher waves, and this one has really stretched out waves and waves that are really close together. Now these are just visual examples of what we're hearing, but they actually are really important. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is amplitude. Amplitude is just another word for volume, so for how loud the sound is. So if it has a lower amplitude, then it's going to be quieter. If it has a higher amplitude, then it's going to be louder. So when you see a wave that's really close to the line, that tells you that it's going to be a quieter sound. And if you see a wave that's really big and tall and goes down really low, that's going to be a louder amplitude. So I'm going to hit two of these again, and I want to know if you can hear the difference. So when we're hitting the tuning forks, we may not hear that much of a difference in the amplitude. Their amplitudes might actually look kind of the same. The next one we want to talk about is pitch. So you'll notice that this really stretched out pitch is going to be a lower sound. So that's a sound that is deeper. And then this really close together wave is a higher pitch. So like a really high squeaky voice would have a high pitch, and a really low voice would have a lower pitch. So remember, these are just a way to see the waves that we're actually hearing. We have a really cool experiment that we're going to do today using spoons, some yarn, and a pencil. What you're going to do is you are going to just take a long piece of yarn and you're going to tie it around the handle of your spoon. And then you're going to need a friend to help you. So you're going to take one side of the yarn and you're going to press it up against your ear like you're plugging your ears. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I like to kind of have it kind of even, and I'm going to press them both to my ears, the outside of my ears, so I'm plugging them. And then your friend is going to tap the spoon. So what you just heard is kind of a ringing sound, but when you have this above your ears, it's going to be a whole different sound. So I can't wait to hear what it's like testing that, because the first time I did it, I couldn't believe it. We had to do it over and over again because it sounded so cool. So you'll see I've kind of collected some different size spoons. So remember, we noticed that the tuning forks are different sizes. I've collected some different size spoons, and I'm going to test all of these different spoons in the same way. So I will take some yarn and I will cut it and tie it around this spoon. I'll also try this little spoon, and I'm gonna try this really, really big utensil too. And I wanna hear if those make different sounds. So I'm listening for the amplitude, remember that's the volume, and the pitch to see if it sounds really high or really low. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw the way that your pitch sounds. So for example, if I hear a really loud amplitude, then I would make sure that my wave goes really high and really low. If my pitch is really low, then I want that to be stretched out. So say I hear something really loud and really low, I'm gonna make a big amplitude and I'm gonna stretch it out so that it has a big pitch. Say I hear a quiet sound that has a really high pitch. So I'm gonna make my amplitude really small and I'm gonna make those sounds really, or those waves really close together. So you can see I've shown you 3 different sounds just by talking about them. What you're gonna do is you are going to draw the sounds that you hear with your spoon experiment. So you don't need this paper, you can print it out if you want, but you can also just use a blank piece of paper, make a line, and draw your sound waves on there. So your challenge this week is to try the spoon experiment. I think you're really gonna like it. And I want you to draw the sound waves that you hear onto a line just like we did here. You're gonna send that to your teacher and she will let me see. I can't wait. See you next time.